Hi there, let's talk about X-Men Fantastic Four 4X. X-Men Fantastic Four 4X is a story by Chip Zdarsky with art by the Dodsons. That wonderful art style that they have got. Terry Dodson doing the pencils and his wife doing the inking. It follows a fun ride as you have the current, at the time of doing this video, X-Men with Krakoa and all of that. Wanting to take Franklin Richards to Krakoa because he's a mutant, and them sending a delegation to the Fantastic Four to try and coax him to them. In the meantime, Franklin's powers are waning. Franklin has been aged up at this point, just for people who aren't aware of it. So he's sort of I'm not sure of his exact age. I think I'd say he's probably around 14, 15 years old, maybe. But he's aware of his powers waning, and he's aware that his dad can't do anything. That's the scene set. Let's have a little flip through the book and a chat about the story a bit more, and then we'll have a little wrap up. Okay then, so X-Men Fantastic Four by Chip Zdarsky with art by the Dodsons. I think the Dodsons art is either something that you really like or don't get on with. I really like it. I love the way the characters all have this sort of 1950s, 60s look to them, and they just look unique and great. So what you've got with this story is it fits into the current X-Men world where you've got them all on Krakoa. You've got Charles Xavier with his weird headpiece on, and obviously Franklin Richards is a mutant, and now he's coming of age. You find that he catches the attention of the X-Men. They know he's a very powerful mutant, and Charles and Magneto want to send a team to go and recruit him. This is where it gets a bit sticky with the X-Men, because they're not the goodwill characters you necessarily think they are. And Charles and Magneto try to use Kitty Pryde as a lever, emissary, whatever you want to call it, to try and convince Franklin, because they know that it might be a bit heavy-handed to go in otherwise. Kitty obviously has a say on the matter, talks to Logan about it, and you see what happens as a result of this. You've also got these infographics which just whizzed past that are consistent through the X-Men books that are currently out there. So you see obviously Ben Grimm talking to Franklin, and he's saying his dad's giving him a hard time, but Ben's this sort of fun uncle trying to play both sides. Anyway, the X-Men turn up, Kitty and Franklin get on, and things soon start to get fractious between the people. Magneto is unable to hold his tongue. There's a lot of pressure on the situation. Reed's trying to protect his son, and it turns out that he had put some sort of dampening technology there to stop Franklin from being pinged by the X-Men. Kitty and Franklin kind of do one, and the X-Men are quickly in pursuit. Quite why they're in pursuit doesn't really make sense, because that's the most threatening way for things to be, if they're trying to do this sort of softly catchy monkey kind of thing. There's a fight, as you might expect. Two groups meet, they fight, standard comic book stuff. But in the meantime, there's exposition going on. Franklin, he has a conversation with his sister, Valeria, which is quite funny because she keeps referring to Dr. Doom as her uncle, and it's just the way the way that it is. The way it's said, you just need to read it to understand why I'm chuckling. Anyway, they stow away on the X-Men's boat that's taking them back to Krakoa via another mission, and they soon end up in Doom's clutches, because you can't have a Fantastic Four story without Dr. Doom. I'm whizzing by a lot of this now. The conversation between Valeria and Dr. Doom are funny again, because she sees him as a rather not comical, but a figure that she knows he would never hurt her. Like here, Uncle Doom, it's very obvious that you're hiding something besides the soul. And Doom doesn't mind getting called out on it, because what I find out is that all of the Latverian mutants have been hidden by Doom on a secret island, where they're say happy, but the X-Men don't think that anyone can be happy because they're not happy, which is standard X-Men stance for most things now. They have got a big chip on their shoulder. More fighting, more misunderstandings, things that can all be sorted out if they just sat down and talked about it, but they don't. Mostly instigated by the X-Men. There's a nice bit here where you have obviously Ben Grimm as a pilot, a former sort of top-end pilot, going up against Cyclops. It doesn't really last long enough for it to be anything. I wish there was a bit more of a dogfight, a bit more of a challenge there. I think that would have been a nice little touch, that you have two sort of people with piloting in their blood. Obviously Cyclops' father was a pilot, and that's where he got his injuries, but it's one of them things. You get a showdown with Doom, you get a showdown with the X-Men, and then you get the conclusion of the story. I'm going to say no more than that on the story, because I don't think I want to give anything away. I'm going to stop before we get to the end of this book. But it's a fun story. There are obviously Doombots and Sentinels, and Doom has a more nefarious plot in hand. It's a fun read. If you pick it up cheap as a digital trade, I think you will be entertained. I'm not sure if it really sits particularly well in the current X-Men world. I don't really read that. I'm looking forward to the omnibus coming out soon, so I can see if I like it and catch up on it, because it seems to be coming out for a reasonable price as well, the X-Men omnibus. But it's a good read. It's got great art, it's got snappy dialogue and fun characters, and most importantly, I read it and I enjoyed it, and I didn't need to know much about the wider world of Marvel at this time to get that enjoyment from it. Okay, so that was the book. I thought it was a fun story, a fun ride. You don't need to know a lot about Krakoa and the X-Men to be able to enjoy it. Just a very basic premise that the X-Men have got this country, island Krakoa, that they've set up, and it's being run by Magneto and Charles Xavier. I enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest X-Men fan in the world. I don't have many of their omnibuses or their books. Having read this, I'm now interested to pick up the omnibus that comes out for the X-Men with Jonathan Hickman's run. Is due out later this year. I think I might give that a punt and see if I like it, and then I might delve into more of that stuff. We'll see. But I'd say certainly if you see this in the sale on Comixology, and you can get it for like £2.40 or £2.70, whatever it goes for, pick it up. It's got a fantastic art, it's got a fun story, and it's got some nice little quips from Doom and that in there. It's an enjoyable comic book read, nothing too heavy. Please let me know what you think about it if you've read it. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.